Hello and welcome back to our Randomised Gaming's Guide to Destiny. This is the third mission on the moon, the Sword of Crota, and once again me, Random Gamer Riven, will be taking you through the best way to deal with this mission. Now the Sword of Crota is actually quite a helpful mission because it's a really good way to practice with the sword for use in the new Dark Below expansion, because of course if you've done the raid already you'll know you have to use the sword to defeat Crota, and you need to defeat it as well to defeat gatekeepers early on in the raid. So this is a great mission to actually practice and use the sword with. And there are quite a lot of tricks with the sword that a lot of people aren't aware of. You can actually combo it with certain attacks. But before I begin and explain about the sword, I'll wait till we actually get to the sword itself. So for now I'll give you a quick rundown of the mission. Effectively the mission requires you to defeat the 4 swarm princes, 3 of which are found at the end of the mission, 1 of which is found on the surface near the entrance to one of the Hellmouths.
We can see that it is never wielded again.
So after you've been given a quick brief by the Cryptarch, our mission is to actually go and find the first swarm prince, who's located on the surface. Now he's over the other side of the starting location, so you want to grab your Sparrow and just head over there. And anyone familiar with this new Sparrow will notice that this is the one from the expansion The Dark Below. This is the one given to anyone who purchases it. Although I actually prefer Sparrow from the Vault of Glass because it's slightly faster. So this rock of stones up ahead of us is where we want. Is where we're headed for the first swarm prince.
I hope you're ready.
So first off, a number of acolytes will deploy. Now interestingly, all the enemies in this section remain at level 6 regardless whether you're doing the original normal level mission or whether you're doing a level 30 version of this mission. The reason being this is an outside section, so anyone can actually jump in and join in and help you out. So the swarm prince, this bit is effectively very easy. Now all you want to do is just run around and shoot them. Sometimes I jump up on a pillar and just shoot them from above. It's a pretty straightforward section. All you got to do is just keep killing them until I see there Barak de Uruk Prince appears. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And then all you got to do is concentrate on killing him.
One down. I'll lead us to the others.
So that's the easy part of the mission out the way. Next off is to actually go into the Hellmouth and deal with the remaining swarm princes. So our mission is track the sword, and we have to head slightly deeper into the Hellmouth. Not actually that far, we just need to go into one chasm chamber and then cross into a ruin. You'll get familiar with this entrance into the Hellmouth as quite a lot of missions use it. It's used in the Strike as well. It's something you will become very, very familiar with. So sometimes you'll have acolytes standing out here, and there's also sometimes knights inside as well. Sometimes they've been killed by other players, sometimes they don't seem to spawn much. See, there's a knight there. There's usually 3 here.
Not to unsettle you.
So the room we want to head to is just down below, but before you do that, you just got to go through this long corridor. Now you will get very familiar with this rocky room just ahead because an awful lot of the missions, as I said earlier, do include it. It's seen in the Shrine of Oryx and the the Pythagon raid, not raid, the strike itself. This is always the way you come in. The room where the Sword of Crota is actually using quite a few missions, and just down below here is actually the only ghost you can get in this mission. Well, the only ghost that's in the course of the mission. Then you can always nip out on a quick patrol and grab all the other ghosts if you want to. But that's the easy one. There's also quite a sneaky one there. So first off, you want to deal with all mages here and steal their glimmer, so to speak. There's a few of them. Just stay back and shoot them. By now you should be pretty familiar with this formation of enemies, so they won't be too much of a problem. So once all the mages are dead, it's time to head down below. So I'm just finishing off this last acolyte here.
The sword is close. I can feel its power.
So as soon as you enter this room, get ready. You want to grab the sword as quickly as possible, but deal with the initial wave of thrall that attack you. There's a few acolytes as well, and there's a few explosive thrall or cursed thrall. Now, sword's actually quite an interesting mechanic because it effectively allows you to combat really quickly. It's a fast-moving blade, and effectively, if you're a hunter, it acts similar to the Arc Dancer Super, or Blade Dancer to be exact. It's arc damage, but it's similar to that. But basically, the sword itself has two attacks. If you press R1, you do a slam attack, and if you press R2, you do a swipe. Now, the slam attack does more damage, but takes a lot more time. The R2 attack's a lot quicker, and you can combo it, but doesn't do quite as much damage. Now, a lot of people always seem to do the slam attack, but I don't think they realise how good the combo attack is. The other thing I've seen next to no one mention is you can actually combo the R1 into the R2 attack. You can do a single R1, R2 swipe into the R1 slam, or there's a special uppercut attack that if you press R2 twice, then press R1, the third hit from the sword will be an upper rush, and you can combo that really effectively. I've not actually seen anyone use that rush attack on Crota itself. I don't think many people realise it's there. Basically R2 twice with the sword, R1, and you'll do a rush at the end of a combo. I've not actually seen how much damage that rush does on Crota yet, because everyone I've seen always does the R1 attack. I'm not a huge fan of it because I find the R2 you can do a lot quicker. The other thing is the R2 is really fast for moving away from and getting you around. It's really quick to actually move. If you swing the R2 attack, you actually move further than you would do if you run. So it's actually easier, certainly, to move around with the sword, to just swing it. And you can actually, if you jump up in the air and then use R2, you actually float for miles, so you can use it to effectively fly as well. So just finish off the High Wizard here. Now the sword's in the background, but I advise you finish off all the enemies before you grab it the first time. Now I made a slight faux pas the first time round as I went a bit too heavy on one of the Swarm Princes without using the R1 attack. I basically tried to combo R2. There's the R1 attack, and there's the R2 attack there. And that's a combo. That's just an R2 combo, followed in with a slam. I think that last one was the upper rush. You'll do two straight combos if you do the R2 and then R1, and then you'll do an up rush at the end of it where you drags the sword character from the ground up to the air. So there's a quick slam one. Basically, it's a really good blade to get really familiar with because you will be needing it in the Crota raid. So if you do feel at all unconfident about using the sword, grab it and just do this mission over and over again. The sword makes it ridiculously easy. You do actually have a super with the sword, which is effectively just an enhanced R1 slam with more radius. So once you've killed off the first enemies, you'll get a prompt that the Swarm Princes are coming for the sword.
Lots of movement all around us. The searchers are coming for the sword.
So there's is that he's the first one, but it's now I went a little bit too heavy just doing R2 attacks. You can see they caught up behind the others. R2 is a good way to prevent them attacking you, but sometimes they do get a revenge swing in. So I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit back to when the next Swarm Prince emerges rather than showing you killing off the initial wave of enemies. So this time around I'm going to make sure I don't go hell for leather. What you want to do is just go in and back off. So basically you want to hit them a few times and back off. Certainly if you get the sword, the R1 and the R2 straight right on some of the enemies, you can actually prevent them from attacking you. The gatekeepers, certainly in the raid themselves, you can actually hit enough times before they can actually retaliate against you. These guys, the Swarm Princes, will actually counter you, so you can't just go in for them hell for leather. So as you can see there, I'm often going in there, hitting him, then I'm using the sword itself to fly away from them. So take a hit, use the super, going for a few swipes, and then back off. So that's the first one down. Now pretty much all the Swarm Princes are the same pattern. Kill their initial wave of troops, Swarm Prince spawns, and then you back up, and then you go for the Prince once they appear. And you repeat that for 3 waves in effect. There's not much here. This is actually a really, really short mission. It's one of the shortest in the game. So there's the second Swarm Prince, Darkpool. So you see them more flying away from the enemy. It's very, very effective. Yeah, this is the R2. When you get it right, you can just go hell for leather. You will notice when the Swarm Princes take a lot of damage, they get enraged. That red swirl comes across them, and that means that they are no longer they won't flinch from your attacks, then will counter attack you. So it's always best to back away from them when they're near enraged. They seem to get enraged as they're close to death as well. Yogars actually have that ability as well, I noticed. Not many other enemies do, but actually when they get a red swirl, it means they'll start to be able to countering you regardless. So there's the third and final Swarm Prince. Right, so the Swarm Princes are only the Knights, and there's only 3 Knights in here which are the Swarm Princes, so there's no Boomer Knights or anything like that, as people have unofficially dubbed the ones with the explosive guns. So again, I'm using the sword to get away, so basically slam. That was a super slam there. Hit back, we'll use the sword to get away. And as you see, when you're using it to move, you fly towards the enemies, or fly away from them. And there again, I'm just using it to dash away, and it's a really great weapon to move, the sword. And it's great when you're fighting Crota, because you need to use it to move away from Crota quickly once he gets back up after you've hit him a few times. But yeah, you can use grenades. You can also drop the sword with the triangle if you don't want to use it. But I always find it's really good. The only time I tend not to use the sword was if I was doing like the level 30 version of the mission with a 28 character, in which case I found the sword doesn't do that much damage and you're better off just staying back with your guns. So as you see there, I just dropped the sword just to finish him off with the guns. Finish him with Fist of Havoc. So that's the Sword of Crota. Now, upon finishing the mission, you will get the remainder. I think it's a blade shard or something.
They say that was one of the most powerful weapons
Completing the
the
mission,
Hive
and
ever
that can be
wielded
cashed
against
into your
us.
Vanguard Mentor.
Cryptarchs won't believe this.
There you can see a blade shard. So once you've got the blade shard, you just head back to the tower. Then you head to your respective Vanguard Mentor. So it'll be whoever which character based on your character classes. As you can see here, I'm a Titan, and so I talked to Commander Zavala, and I've got the option of an armor, a gauntlet, or a helmet to choose from. Now, same as always, pick whichever one's best for you, and whichever one gives you the best stat boost at this point. But that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm Random Gamer Riven, and I'm signing out for today.
This armor won't fail. Neither will you. Travelers like to guard